Hello, everybody. Reggie time here, and in just a moment, I'm going to be joined by a guest for once in a while. Very rare it happens, but I'm looking forward to it. The guest is going to be Josh, one of the people I work with in the Poker Lounge. He's a very, very keen six-card player. He absolutely loves it. We're going to have very different views on all the hands we look at because he absolutely loves the action, whereas I am a more conservative player. But hopefully, we should have some good and fun discussion. We won't spend too long on any one hand, but this might be a longer than usual video if we end up arguing, because Josh can be quite argumentative. His screen name on the app is actually Spikey Prick, because he can be a spiky prick, but at the same time, he's a fucking lovely fellow, just incredibly argumentative and quite short-tempered, but a lovely man. The reason we're doing the video today is we are running a free roll tonight in our UK-only club. You don't have long now to sign up and get involved. It's £1,000 free roll. We're paying anyone who makes the final 9 players £100. The winner's getting £200. There's also re-entries if you want to re-enter the tournament if you bust for £5, and they go on top of the prize pool. So the prize pool could be as big as £1,250 and completely free to enter. So if you want to get involved in that game, it's happening tonight, probably in about 6 hours after this video drops. Message at the Poker Lounge on Telegram, or join one of the Facebook groups that's in the comment and just post to the Facebook group, I want in the banter free roll, and Mod will reach out to you and help you get set up. But you need to do that quickly if you want to play in tonight's free roll. That's the end of all the spam. There'll be no more spam unless it just comes up generally in conversation between Josh and I. The rest of the video is just going to be me looking at hands I played, getting Josh's opinion, and then arguing with him. Should be a fun video. And let's go, Josh. Here we are. What we'll do with this, Josh, is we'll ask you what you do first, and you can see how shit, tight, and passive I am. We should give Meow a shout out here, by the way. He emailed me last week to join our club. Adam spoke to him. I don't think he's actually joined yet. So, Meow, I know you'll be watching this because that's how you got our email address. Give us a shout again today, buddy, and get yourself signed up. It's going to be a big week. We've got new players coming in, and yeah, give us a shout again, Meow. Get signed up, get a deposit made, and then come and give me all your fucking money, brother. So yeah, Josh, let's fucking crack on, mate. We'll pause the action every time. So first of all, it's on us. I know you. You're definitely opening this, so I don't need to ask you about that.
No.
Reads on all these players are. I give them because I know these players. They're all tight players. Well, mate, sorry, what did you say then?
It is anything.
All right, sorry. There must have been some interference. So I've opened. Now, I typically just open 2.5 blinds, and I know you won't like that. My reason for doing it is it just makes it cheaper to defend fucking 3-bets, basically, which happens quite a lot in this game, doesn't it? And as someone like yourself who opens a lot, I'm often wondered why you don't do that, because you open a lot and then you defend virtually all your opens. And first of all, what do you think of that? Do you think, because I think like
part of the reason you open and that I would raise like pot off of my open is to try and minimize the field. Now, I understand that doesn't probably happen in our game because everybody's just call stations and go 6 ways to a flop anyway. But like if you're saying here that you're playing against like tighter players, then surely a bigger open narrows down the field to seeing flops.
It should do, but it's still relatively small, isn't it? Like, pot's a big opening, no limit. If you're opening pot, you're not going to be. No one's going to look at you and think this guy's a good player. But in these games, to me, it's just a matter of just juicing the pot. For if you on the off chance that you hit well. That's kind of how I see it. And there's no stealing in PLO, is there? It just doesn't fucking happen. Raise and take it is just not a thing. Not even in tight games, it isn't a thing. So for me, it's just, I'm just juicing it because I've got a hand that I want to play. And then if I do get 3-bet, especially by one of these, their range is going to be pretty clearly defined as either all big cards or aces. And I just want to see flops cheaper and then force them to play out of position in deeper SPRs. That's kind of how I look at it. But anyway, we've opened here. Like you can see by the V-pips, this guy's a fucking stone knit. This guy's very nitty. And Meow, I know he's tight. This 50 is probably due to a small sample size. And we do get a call here. And he checks to us. We've got the little wrap. And do we have any back doors? Yeah, backdoor nut spades. Oh no, just backdoor shitty spades. So what are you starting with here?
Yeah, it's you have to bet into this, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean we don't really have showdown value, but we have decent equity. So yeah, I think so. Do you? I've watched you play a lot, but I haven't really noticed. Are you just always a pot guy, or do you have different sizes with your bets?
Player dependent and stack dependent as well. Like trying to get, so like for example with you now, right? So you've got like sorry, what stake is this that we're playing as well?
This
here?
is 10 cent, 25 cent in dollars.
10 cent, 25 cents. So you're sat with like 110 bigs or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, like, at that depth, I guess it doesn't really matter too much about, like, you want to get somewhere like 3/4 pot, something like that. Like, you want to obviously start building it, but even if he's got some sort of set, you still got good equity against him.
Of course, yeah. If he raises, then we have to decide what we're going to do versus that. But yeah, we're certainly not planning on bet folding at this stage. I like using 2/3 pot quite a lot, especially on the early streets, because in PLO you never really you can never really be polarized until the river. You're just going to be a lot of merging. With like, I'm going to want to bet my draws here. I'm going to want to bet king queen. I'm going to want to bet a pocket eights. Lots of hands that aren't nutted, but that are good hands. And you also want to have some just like random bluffs in there too. So I rarely use pot on the early streets because like pot's effectively you're polarizing yourself to saying I've got nuts or air. And in this game, yeah, you might have nuts on a particular street, but the board changes so often. I don't think you would really want to be polarizing until at least turns and probably rivers. So I just like using smaller bets up until the river, and then on the river, hopefully when I've got a better understanding of where I am in the hand, I can choose whether to polarize or not. So yeah, I like your idea of betting 75%, 2/3, whatever, just not pot, I think. But who knows? I'm a fucking idiot. I might well just fucking pot this because I don't remember things. Yeah, we did go for a smaller bet. Now we've been check raise. So what would your thoughts be here facing a check raise from a nit?
Just call it off.
So you just call here. You wouldn't be looking to like.
Yeah, he's screaming sets or wrap with a minimum of 2 pair.
Yeah, I agree.
Like he's potentially ahead of you, but I think you have to just call it off and peel a turn.
Yeah. What would you do if you had a slightly better straight draw here? What if it like you had like the 2 overs and the 2 unders? Like, because at the minute we just got like we've got a wrap, but sometimes you can be in a situation where you're up against a set and you can have like a massively long wrap, can't you? Whereas here, because we can only hit like the ace or the 9, it's just an open ender more than it's an insider wrap, isn't it? I guess
it's not ace or 9, ace 9 10.
Yep, that's just,
and
ignore me. I'm an idiot.
And then any 7 gives you 6 further out as well.
Yep.
So yeah, just I think regardless of what you've got here, with no actual, made hand currently, no 2 pair, no set. You just have to. I mean, as it stands a minute, you're put 10s high, right?
Yeah.
You just have to call it off and peel a turn.
So you would never imagine you could 3-bet here and get folds?
No way.
No,
not against someone that you're saying that's got 20% VPIP and is in it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's hope I don't fucking raise. We do just call. We pick up a shitty flush draw. Now he pops
But then
it.
that increases your outs now, right? Because you've now picked up the 6 as a straight 2.
Yeah, we've got the 6 to the nuts.
Any 6, 9, 10 ace.
So what are you thinking about your flush draw here? Are you excited about it, or are you just, well, that's okay, but because I wouldn't really count the flush draw as like extra equity here, because the flush draw could be fucked, couldn't it?
It's likely to be fucked, isn't it? The hand that he's repping is going to be either either full wrap with like 2 pair, or he's repping that he's got like a set. And if he's got a set of, say for example, he's got a set of kings, it almost certainly means he's 66% likely to have the king of spades. And in PLO6, you only need one little raggy spade to go with it. So yeah, I'd say your flush draw's negligent at the minute.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So we're probably just calling, but I wouldn't be surprised if I just fucking ripped it here because I'm a fucking idiot. I don't
Is
want
it
to.
is it multi on these tables, or is it
It's optional.
once
It's
optional?
optional, or you can do like I do. And if you get it in and you're a slight favourite, it will let you cash out. And
With the insurance thing, yeah.
yeah, I nearly always cash out. It costs you 1%, but this game will fuck with your mental game somewhat chronic, and I cannot be asked with variance. So I think the 1% is a price worth paying.
We can have insurance on our games. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did, but I've never wanted to mention it in case we decide to do it, and then we run bad on it, and we end up just doing 10 bag off in a week, and then it's Reg. What have you told us to do that for? But yeah, I think it's interesting. But it's obviously high risk, isn't it? Like we're running a 6 game, someone takes insurance, and it costs us 6 bag in a night.
Pot. Yeah.
It's a bit of a fucker, isn't it? So I've never wanted to mention it, but yeah, it's if we had it, I'd take it every fucking time. I wouldn't think twice about it. Anyways, let's get on with the hand. Don't rip, Reg. It's just a call, isn't it? It's just a call and get there. Hopefully, yeah, we do, and then we make our flush on the river. And he checks to us. So now are you value betting your flush?
It's a tough spot, isn't it? Against. So he only has like what, $11 behind. You have $15 behind. Pot is 28. So you've got like a half pot bet.
Yeah.
And he's by the time that you've ripped that in, he's then got. What is his SPR? It's like 4-1 or something.
Yeah, if we rip it in, there could be $22 more going in, so that'd be $50. So yeah, he'll need like 20% equity or something.
20% equity, which basically any flush draw has kings, queens, jacks, jack or king, queen, jack high. Oh, you've got what is it? You've got the 10 of spades.
Yeah, I just got the 10
and 4 of spades. Yeah.
So we got the third nuts effectively, haven't we?
Yeah, and yeah, I'd probably rip it.
Yeah, I think we should too. It looks like he's just got a set of kings or a set of queens, doesn't it? That's now either try to bluff catch or just ready to fold. I don't think he's bluffed here and then given up. I think it looks to me like I've got a set and I don't like that spade, so I'm going to check, but probably never fold.
Yeah,
that's how I look at this. I mean, if I don't rip, I'll be disappointed. Because I think he has to call off with the set here, I think, because it's a backdoor flush, not a front door one. Yeah, and he had exactly what we both thought. He had the set of kings and the second. He should just jam that river, to be fair.
Right, his line made sense for you to, in your head, for you to jam. But I think that was a good check on his behalf, no?
Yeah, well,
if he jams river, do you call? Probably still anyway, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, I just think like
he doesn't know that you've got the flush though, and if he thinks that you've just missed your wrap, then you could try and be taking a poke at bluffing with the spade.
Yeah, maybe. I think if the pot was bigger, his line would make a bit more sense, but he's got 1/3 pot left. And it's a disaster for him. If I chose to check this hand back, that's a disaster for him because I have to call if he shoves. I hate my life, but I have to call. I just think it's a disaster for him just not getting the extra, like, whatever it would be, like fucking 50 big blinds or 40 big blinds, whatever it was. I think that's a big problem for him. But you see that all the time in these games. People just will not value bet second nuts very often. There's only a few players who will. You're one who'd 100% do it. I think if you had his hands, you would have jammed that river at least 75% of the time, if not more.
Yeah.
And with your image, you absolutely should jam that river too.
Oh yeah, I get called all day long.
Yeah, I maybe wouldn't. You definitely would. Maybe he's just like, well, I don't get paid here because of my image. I don't know, but yeah, we lost some max there. Let's move on to the next one. So here we go. Next hand. So you had a min open a call, and we have the double suited ace, king, 10, 9, 8, 5. And my read on you is you would 3-bet this hand literally 100% of the time.
Reg, I don't think there's going to be a single hand that you're playing today out of these hands that aren't going to be me opening.
Nah, but this is different. It's already been opened. Would you 3-bet this or call it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 3-bet the shit out of that, yeah.
I thought you would. I think maybe we should too. I don't have an issue flatting though either, because again, just because we'd have no fold equity, I'm happy playing, like, try to keep SPRs deep, whereas your style is much more, let's fucking make the pot as big as possible, and then let's keep the pressure on post flop, isn't it? You and I have very different styles, but I think this is definitely a good 3-bet candidate. We didn't know, of course I didn't. So now with the actions on you, you've got the open ender, you've got top
Triple
pair,
backdoor, flush draw.
and yeah, you got all the backdoor.
Oh,
We don't
no.
have backdoor spades,
No
backdoor
spades.
hearts and backdoor clubs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you. I haven't played with you enough to know if you ever have. If you did flat here, would you have leads? Because I think it's a game where you should definitely have like donking strategies for certain. If you're just never having a donking strategy, I think you're missing a trick. But then you've got to decide how you're going to build your ranges within that structure, within that strategy, haven't you? I think this is definitely how we can consider. Like my thoughts on these situations are: is my hand strong enough to check raise? If it is, then I'm more likely to check and consider raising. But if it isn't, then I'm more likely to put it into a donking range. But that could be a very flawed strategy. It's just how I see this spot. But I think both are on the table: donk, check raise, or even just check call, depending on the action. But what would your preferred action be if you were
I
playing?
think just check call here.
Just check call. I mean, that can't be bad, can it? It just can't possibly be bad. I decided to lead out though. And I use these small sizes again because I'm just going to have a really merged range here. I'm going to have this type of hand exactly. I'm going to have sets. I'm not going to have air very often. So I use this small size. And I do this mostly to just like force people to raise good hands. What I try and do, I talk to Lachlan quite a lot, and what he's not very good at is I will try and force people to tell me early in a hand how strong or weak they are. So by the time we get to turns and rivers, I have a better mental picture of like what the board and what the hand looks like. But I know this isn't something that you ever do, and I'm interested on other people's thoughts on is like basically essentially betting to find out where I'm at, or more to say like where other people are at. So therefore you can make better decisions later on when the pot's bigger. But that's like betting to find out where you're at. It's like taboo in poker, isn't it? But I actually think in this game it's reasonable. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that in the game that you're playing now, maybe, I think in our game where it's a lot more aggressive and people are playing looser and people aren't so much paying attention to their cards and more paying attention to what you're doing. I don't know whether that just would lead people to overbet or over 3-bet you anyway, just to push you off. Like someone 3-bets you now, do you call?
Yeah, our draw wouldn't be strong enough to 3-bet, would it? We'd just have to call here and hope to see an interesting turn card. But if they are doing that, then I just get to bet 3-bet all my sets, don't I? So there's everything you do is a trade off in poker, isn't there? Like if I was doing it against you and like doing small bets and you were constantly raising me, I would probably not be able to donk hands like this anymore. But I would be able to just happily donk a set of deuces and stack off against you, for example. Or if I had like a bigger wrap, I could like donk and then attack your raise more widely. I agree with you. It's completely player specific, and you can't have a one size fits all strategy in this game. But I think the general principle of just using small and medium sized bets to force people to define their ranges more clearly to you, so you can make better decisions on later streets, is generally it's a good principle. But you probably need deeper stacks. 100 bigs, it's difficult because, as you said quite often to me when I've wanted to put cat games on, in a 100 big blind game, usually by the river, people are just committed anyway. So I think it maybe works better in deeper stack depths where you can still have like pot-sized bets left for rivers where 100 big steep, you rarely have a pot-sized river left. Do you? If betting goes in the street, or if a bet and a race goes in, by the time the river comes, you're back at half pot or less.
Yeah.
So I like the idea, the principle in general of rather than checking, just betting small and then forcing people to raise their good hands or get out of line against you. It just helps me figure out what's going on better, but it could be dead fishy and shit. I don't fucking know. So we've been called in every sport, and now we've picked up a nut flush draw to go with our open ender, and it's on you.
And picked up a low gutter as well. No, you haven't. Still 6
we have.
for the 8.
We've got the 3, haven't we? 3 for
yeah, but it doesn't give you the nuts.
No.
I'm not used to this. I've never played on GT really. So everyone with Carter, so this is still 4-handed, right?
Yep. And these 2 players, this Oi, Baldy and 5-bet fish, are probably fish. This guy is obviously some kind of nit.
Yeah, I think you need to bet again. Because you've only picked up more equity now, but like somewhere like half pot or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. We have to keep the nuts hasn't changed, which isn't rare in this game, and we didn't get raised, and we picked up equity. And I agree. Yeah, we have to size up. We can't bet 1/3 again. I don't think we have to size up here. But let's see if I actually did that in game. How'd you get on with it? Yeah, we did size up. I went with the 2/3 spot. And then we completely brick the river. Are you bluffing it off?
Yes.
I hope I do. This hand has... We have minimal showdown value with the fucking 10, but it's not enough. 1 pair is not... It's basically not showdown value in this game, is it? I hope I bluff shove. It'd be quite a boring hand if I fucking don't. Oh, fuck off, Reg. Well, now are you bluff catching?
With what? 10 high? Or a pair of 10s?
A pair of 10s, yeah.
No, you can't just fold.
God knows. I'm presuming I call if this hand's been starred. Otherwise, it's the most boring hand in fucking history. I did just fold. Sorry, everyone, for watching. That was a fucking truly boring fucking hand. That might have been a misclick or who knows fucking what. But anyway, on to the next one. This guy was straddling every button, which is really fucking annoying because effectively you're making the game twice as big and you're always fucking out of position, which is a pain in the ass. So this guy straddled the button. You've got this double but triple suited, semi-connected, rundowny type shit. So you're out of position to a guy who's straddling the button. Are you just like completing a lot of hands? Are you going to try and have an aggressive raising strategy versus that?
I don't like this hand at all, Reg.
You don't like it at all?
Nah.
It's pretty nicely connected. King right through the 7. It is how, like, when I watch the PLO Mastermind videos and you got to, like, the thing you look at is like how connected are your cards. So the 7 and the 8, the 7's connected to the jack. It's also connected to everything else. And the king's connected to the 9. So it's relatively well connected. It's heads up. And you've got a guy who's straddling every button. So you know, you've got to play some hands. I don't love the hand, don't get me wrong. But it's got to be above average for heads up, hasn't it? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, by the way. That's actually a question. It's not a statement. But has that not got to be above average for a heads up game?
Maybe. I just other than a couple of straight draws, like what nuts can you hit? Like obviously you can hit some like raggy full houses with like board comes down like 8, 9, 9 or whatever, but like you don't have top of the range. You have no nut flush. You have pretty not poor straights, but like with no queen, no 10, you can't physically hit. Like I think with no 10, you miss out a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Play the hand and we'll see.
We're going to flop a lot of gut shots and shit out, which are annoying. We're not going to flop any like we're not going to flop as many like nice smooth wraps or open enders because of the gaps. Like they said, the queen and the 10 are missing.
Like you need to hit like your flop needs to come down like 10-6-4 or something like that for you to have like for me to say like, yeah, this is a really good hand now.
Yeah, I think that regard what you said to flushes, I think because your head's up, like nut flushes matter less because there's only two in the pot and you're not always necessarily looking for the nut.
I
Multi-way,
always say,
you
I
need
always say that to myself when I'm playing someone heads up and they've just always got it.
yeah, it's that kind of game, isn't it? So I've obviously he straddled the button, then he still has the fucking action. That is dog shit. Anyways, we've now flopped
A gut shot.
top pair and a gut shot with some backdoor shit. Check in, leading out, check folding, check raising. What's your initial thought?
Just check and see what his sizing is when he inevitably bets. I mean, you're calling off regardless.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, well, open.
I wouldn't be surprised if I led here just because my hand isn't very strong. But I want to stay in the pot. Quite often, if I'm thinking I'm going to check call, I will just lead rather than check call because I think in my own head, like people like only bet when they think they've got good equity, either a strong made hand or a decent draw. So I just lead out when I'm planning on check calling because I think that works better. But now we get fucking raised and I've put myself in a right mess already.
Yeah. I think it's just a fold.
Yeah. This is why I don't like playing heads up, Josh, because I truly do stink. Because obviously I'm not going to fold because this hand's made it into a video. Why would I have reasons for continuing here? I guess I'd be looking at my backdoor flush draw. I'd be looking at my backdoor straight draw and potentially maybe like trying to bluff if a 3 comes or a 6 or an 8 or something. Well, I wouldn't need to bluff a 6.
If the turn isn't a 6 or a 10, you have to fold it.
I wouldn't disagree.
For the next street.
I wouldn't disagree. What if it's a 7? That what?
Oh, disgusting. Oh, that's gross. You're still behind to his straight. And the problem is that, like, if he had a similar sort of hand to you with, like, some sort of rappy bullshit on the flop, then he blocks a lot of your outs for you to boat up if he does have the straight anyway. I mean, you just have to go with it and I guess just lose your money, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, we've got...
I feel like this is one of those hands where you can't fold it. Like, you can't really do anything about the outcome of it. It plays itself now.
We've got 15 bought outs, haven't we? So that's worth 30% equity straight away. So we've got any king, any jack, any 8, 9 deuce, and then we've got the 7 for quads. So we've got 16 outs.
The deuce you shouldn't count, should you? Because you could already be behind.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't. But if we're thinking he's got a straight on the flop, yeah, of course he can have 2 pairs with the 7-5s and the 7-4s. But it's going to be a smaller part of his range because he'd need the straight and he'd need the 2 pairs, wouldn't he?
Fair.
And we do now block him having 7-5 and 7-4 very, very, very fucking hard too. So if we hit a deuce and he just has, say, pocket 4s, then he's fucked, isn't
he?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if I decided just to lead out here because the board's changed. The straight isn't the nuts anymore. I think he probably checks back a straight a lot, so we can just check and probably realise. But I also think we can bet now and have some fold equity and then still have decent pot equity if he does call. But I could see myself going anywhere here. Check call, check shove, or lead. But if I was playing the hand now, I think I would prefer leading for pot and just hoping he might fold a straight once in a blue moon. Do you think anyone ever folds a straight here? If you're playing Reggie, me and you were playing heads up in the app, I bet call this flop and then I donk pot on the turn. If you've got 8-6, what are you doing?
Folded.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would too, just because of my image, because of who I fucking am. Oh, it's Reg. So I'm just fucking folding because
I don't know if it's just image as well, because if you have anything else but a set, say you flop the nuts, then would you not just want to get it in on that flop?
Yeah, if I had 8-6 and I bet this flop and I got raised, I would just be piling it in. Because
Yeah, that's what I mean.
my
Yeah.
hand can't improve anymore and it's vulnerable
Yeah,
to all kinds of board changes.
so the fact that you just flat it when you come over the top means that you're more likely to have a set.
Yeah, I agree. So now do we just pretend we've got a full house and try and make him fall?
I think so. But I don't know about size because if you pot here, leaves you with like
1/3 pot.
well a quarter pot if he calls.
Yeah, no, there'll be 13 and 9 left, won't there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope you pot it.
I think I should definitely bet. Oh, Reg. And now I'm going to fucking jam it probably. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Because now all I've done here is make sure I have no fold equity. I should just have pot call off is way better than check raise, I think. Because pot, we have fold equity. If you'd now bet your 8-6, now you're not folding, are you, anymore? So I've just ruined I've ruined any fold equity.
I think he only does have 8-6, but I just don't think you get there.
Yeah, but he also had the fucking full house too, so we were fucking absolutely toasted here.
9, Jack, King, or an 8 chop.
And we made a full house, but it wasn't.
There's
enough.
your deuce, Reg. You got one of your 3 outs.
Hey, get in there.
Wow.
And I still lost. And then I got a fish telling me that I sucked. And if it wasn't true, I'd be insulted by it.
He got there, Phil.
That is one of the best lines in all of poker. Right, next hand. So here we go, mate. On you. We've had a open from, well, he's Estonian, so he's unlikely to be a moron. We got that player from the last hand who is a confirmed fish flatting. And we have probably a whale in the big blind. And we fucking like, if that wasn't triple suited, I'd just fold that in a fucking heartbeat. But it is triple suited. So take it away, Josh. I think, knowing how you play, I think you'd 3-bet this, but I doubt I would.
I like the hand. Yeah, both top and bottom of the deck while still being connected via suited. I mean, I'd ignore the hearts. The hearts don't mean anything other than potential blockers. But if 3 hearts come down on the flop, I wouldn't be excited about it. The spades and clubs, though, are decent. I think you can have a bit more excitement over the clubs, obviously, with Queen High. I see I 3-bet.
Yeah, the thing I don't like about it is this enormous gap between the Jack and the 5. I get what you're saying. You've got low and high board coverage, but we've got no middle board coverage, have we? But I'm not surprised you would have gone for the 3-bet. I'm never fucking going to. But I think it's reasonable to do this and try and thin the field.
Do you 3-bet anything other than triple suited aces?
Mate, aces are one of my least favourite hands. Genuinely, hand on heart. I think aces in this game, even double suited aces, they're like the fucking ace king and the pocket jacks of no limit. Most people just play enormous pots with them, and they're just never a huge favourite against anything. I'd much rather have. You said to me, "What do you want, Reg? Do you want double suited aces, or do you want like a queen high rundown?" I'm like, give me the queen high rundown all day because it's far easier to play post flop. I think you're on the right end of the coolers more often. How often do you get that double suited aces? You 3-bet pre, you get fucking 4 callers, and then you've got an SPR post flop of 1.5, and you're just like, well, fuck it, YOLO, and you're just gambling and playing guesswork. I don't want it to be that game. I want this game to be deep stacked, playing post flop, and actually it being interesting rather than. And you see it all the time in the club. You're one of the people who 3-bets like absurdly fucking frequently, and then there's other players. I'm not going to name check them, but there's probably 10 or 11 players, and like when they're all at the same table, I don't even think it's that good a game anymore. It's a good game in terms of loads of gamble and excitement. It's good for the players who want to play that style, but for someone like me, it's a fucking nightmare of a game because you're just always playing 3 and 4-bet pots multi-way, and like I think the skill advantage is massively reduced because it's just who's hit the flop best and then let's just fucking see who wins. I'd rather play 400 big blinds deep single race pots any day of the week than play 400 blinds deep 4-bet pots, because all you're doing, you're basically, if you had, say, you and 2 or 3 of the players at the table at 25.50, you're not playing 25.50, you're playing 25.50, 175, 6. So, like, that's basically how it plays pre-flop all the time. So you're basically playing 8 big blind poker, because, like, the big blind effectively becomes £6 because it goes open, 3-bet, blah, blah, blah. And it's like having like a double mental straddle on. So, I mean, I'll always play those games, but for someone like me, they're much less fun because they just take me massively out of my comfort zone and just force me to just gamble with everybody else. And that's not how I want to do it. That's why I quite often just refuse to play with you, because I like you. I don't necessarily want to play for money against you. And also, you're a fucking massive pain in the cock, which is why I tend to stay away.
That's the bottom line of it. Yeah, I'm just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you are. You're a major pain in the ass, because when you start doing what you do, then you trigger a chain reaction. And other people are like, oh, Josh is wild, so I'll be wild too. Before you know it, games are absolutely insane, but they're also, I think they become like, they definitely reduce my effectiveness. That's for certain, because you just force me to openly gamble with you, which is not what I'm there for, because people think I'm genuinely not on it. All my frequencies and VPIPs are higher than theory by a good 25%, but I'm just passive with it. I want to actually play poker post flop, not just like ram it in pre. But that's why I sometimes leave those games when they're happening, because I don't want to spoil them for everybody else. I don't want to be the guy that's just folding everything. So if the games get too aggressive, I'm like, let somebody else have my seat. They can go and have their fun, and leave them to it. But anyways, I've called here because otherwise I ramble too much in videos as it is. I'm going to ramble even more. So we flopped nut flush draw, top pair, multi-way. Again, are you having any leads here, or are you check raising a lot, or just check calling? What's your plan?
I don't think you've got enough there to lead out, but I don't think you can fold if someone bets into you. So you're probably going to bet 2/3 pot here.
I wouldn't be surprised if I think with it being multi-way, I'll just lead out 35%. If I am going to lead out, I don't think my hand. Oh, we got top 2 pair. Actually, we got 2 pairs, haven't we?
Yeah, jack 5.
I mean, I'm not worried. I'm not remotely excited about the 2 pairs, but we just block an extra set, doesn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if I led out here, and then the interesting point is if I get raised, because there would be an option to bet 3-bet. But I think if you do lead out and get raised here, you're just running, because we've got the nut flush draw, you're just going to run into the unlikely sets more often. Let's see what I did. We did go for the check this time. So now the weakest range pre-flop has now made a bet for 75%. The pre-flop raise is checked. What are you doing?
Cool.
You wouldn't contemplate raising against a fish with the weaker, because he's definitely got the weakest range pre. He's got a strongish range because he's opened. He didn't 3-bet, so his range is automatically weakened. And we've called out the small blind, which should be a narrower range than this one that's called in position. So he's got the weakest range pre. You wouldn't fancy. I'm not trying to lead you, by the way.
If you're calling him a fish, do you think he knows all of that?
Well, it doesn't matter what he knows. If we just identify that he's got the weakest range pre-flop, and because he's a fish, he might bet hands that shouldn't bet, do we then now have the option to raise him?
This is what I'm saying. Like, you're saying that he's got the weaker range because he's not done what, like, someone that's good at poker would have done, but that doesn't mean that he's not got a stupidly strong hand just because he calls, if you're saying that he's not a good player.
No, of course not. I'm not saying he's got a strong hand, but he's got weaker hands within that, hasn't he? That's what I'm saying. His range is like the weakest range pre, and probably the widest range pre. So therefore, he has more weak hands in his range that might choose to bet. That's the point I was trying to make. So if we think he does have some weaker hands in range here that may be worse than ours, but might continue. I'm only asking the question. I don't know what we should do here, but because his range is quite weak and because he's a bad player and his range for betting this flop won't be as solid as mine or your loms, would that influence your decision at all?
No, I just flat his bet here.
And we decide to run it, I guess. I'm just trying to be all in here, I guess. So he just calls. So when you check raise his flop and he just calls before the turn comes, would you be like, well, I think I've probably got the best hand?
No.
So you're still thinking. So what on the flop when he just calls
I think
your check raise?
I think he's got either some sort of similar two pair to you, Jack 5, Jack 8, 5 8, with a mediocre sized flush draw which blocks you, and or some sort of wrap.
So you think you're ahead on the flop then? That's the part I'm trying to get to. We ignore the turn for a minute. It's there, but pretend it's not there. The second he calls your flop raise, are you confident that you've got the best hand?
No.
So what better hands do you think he has that doesn't jam on you on the flop?
Like if you ran say for example that he had like say he matched your Jack 5, right, and he has a worse flush draw than you, so blocks your flushes, and then has 4, 6, 7 or 9, 10 queen, you're well behind, aren't you?
Yeah, if he's got straight draws, I suppose. I don't know about well behind. I think it'd be close. I think you'd probably be around 50-50 because our flush draw, even though it's blocked, would probably still have as many outs as his straight draw would do, I guess. I don't know, mate. I'm not good enough at the maths.
So two spades on the board and 2 in your hand is 4, leaves 9 spades left. Assuming he's only got 2, that's 7. So you've got 7 outs for your flush draw, but one of them can't be the Jack because that pairs the board. So you've got 6. So you've got 6 outs for your flush draw, and then presuming he's got some sort of wrap. Excuse me. He could have. He's got. Say, for example, you could have 3 6s, 3 7s, 3 9s, 3 10s, 3 queens. He's instantly got 15 outs there.
Yeah, we can make some full houses with the Jack, though, can't we? I don't know, mate. I'm not good enough at the fucking maths of it, and you never know what people have got. I personally, my opinion would be when he doesn't 3-bet the flop, I'm ahead. But now this 7 changes things dramatically because there's loads of hands I'm not ahead of anymore. But my instinct would have been when he doesn't jam on me, I'm currently, well, maybe not ahead. I could be an equity underdog still, but I would have had the best hand. That would have been my general understanding. And now I think I probably don't have the best hand anymore. I think 10-9's a real possibility, 6-9 with like other straight cards. But now you're in this spot, you still have the nut flush draw, you still have the 2 pairs. Are you now just flicking the rest in, or are you check folding or check calling? Because we're in this spot now, we've got to play it. I might have fucked it on the flop, and I'm not saying I didn't. I could easily have like been too aggressive on the flop, but we are where we are now. So what are you going to do?
I genuinely have no idea what you're supposed to do here now when you've got less than a pot size bet behind.
I mean, I imagine I'm just going to ram it because we can't. I don't think we can check fold. So I'd rather, even if he's only folding 10 or 15% of the time, it's still better than nothing. And if I'm going to check call anyway, my attitude would be I may as well fucking jam because he might just fold a small amount of the time, which is worth something.
Yeah, fair point. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, look at that. On the flop, we had the same hand, and he had a dirty, great big fat wrap. So he might well have been an equity favourite on the flop, mightn't he? With that.
I'm almost certain that he would have been.
He's got better 2 paired outs than me. So it's going to be another one we lose, Josh, by the look of it, unless I get fucking lucky. Which, of course, we didn't. At least I show the shit hand as well. I'm not one of them streamers that only ever shows when they win. I'm fucking happy to show when the fuck I lose as well. Right, next hand. I know you're always opening this, so I'm not going to pause to ask you. 3-bet by an Uber whale, and then a cold call from who knows what in big blind. Close the app. Sorry. I mean, we're never folding. Do you ever four bet?
Yeah, I think that I always four bet here.
It's a pretty hand, but right. Tell me why you always fold. Because I mean, I want to talk to you about poker for a while. You're never going to get a fold here, so why are you choosing to four bet?
Why are you never going to get a fold here?
How often do you see people three bet fold?
So you're talking here with like I can't even read what their V pips are. Is that 46 and 82?
82 and 46.
Okay, maybe you won't get a fold out of either of these.
I would estimate that when we four bet, having faced a three bet in PLO, we get folds sub 10% of the time, which is why I say never, because yeah, you never say never. But I imagine four bet is just going to meet jam or call nearly always. So my question to you is, if you're never getting folds, what is the purpose of the four bet?
I don't think, like I say, I don't know whether. I think you'll always get this Raffaello to call behind. I think you could push that William and Will or whatever his name is out of the pot. And I think it's just a pretty enough pot that if you get a pretty enough hand, that equity would be good enough that you could run it all in and be in good shape no matter what you're playing up against.
Yeah, I imagine if we get it all in here just against Raffaello, we are probably going to have over 40% equity, which is pretty decent, but it still means we're getting it in as an underdog with no fold equity. And that's my justification for just like not playing mega aggressive pre, because you're never a big favourite. And I'd rather take my 40% equity and try and like see some flops where I can have a better idea. Am I going to realise that equity or not? Because if you four bet here, you're basically going to be all in against Raffaello. And I think against players that are so bad, just put your call in, and then if you like the flop, get it in, rather than like just ram it in now with no fold equity, knowing full well you're never going to be a favourite. That's my take on that. And that's something, again, I've wanted to talk to you about for ages, but we never got round to it. I think sometimes like you play too aggressively against players you're better than, and you just give them a chance to get lucky when you can just outplay them by just calling and then, right, cool, I like that flop, let's go, or I don't like that flop, let's save me fucking wedge. But you and I are like superbly different players. Now we just flop.
Told you should have free bet, four bet.
Now we've just flopped the notes. So hopefully we're going to win this one. So it's check to you, having called the three bet. You flop the nuts with a small redraw to the slightly higher straight. Are you leading out into the three better, or are you going for a check shove?
Leading out.
And what size?
Pot. I just like pot because I'm scared of hearts.
But he's not. If he's got hearts, he's not folding anyway, is it?
Sorry?
Here's the thing. Something I learned from watching a Lex Veldas video years ago. It's like, you can't protect against hearts here because they're not going to fold. So
you can against raggy hearts. You can't against nut hearts or king hearts.
Yeah, fair.
You can against 5-6 of hearts, or like shit hearts that he say he has like Jack 7 of spades. So he's got backdoor straight, backdoor flush draw, 2 pair, and then he has like a raggy 2 hearts.
And you think an 82 V-pip's going to fold that? I fucking don't.
Sorry?
So you think an 86 V-pip, an 82 V-pip would fold 2 pairs and a flush draw here?
Well, yeah, I don't know. You've played with these guys, so I don't.
No, just imagine you're playing against a terrible player on the app, and there's plenty fucking of them. Would you try and make them fold 2 pair and a shit flush draw? If you didn't have the straight, and I said, right, make them fold 2 pair and a shit flush draw, would you say, all right, I'll try, Reg? Or you're like, you're a fucking idiot, Reg. They're not going to fold 2 pair and a flush draw. What would your response be if our hand here wasn't the nuts and it was just a pure bluff?
Yeah, I don't know.
No. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot or show you up or anything, mate. It's just like, it's And you've got to get used to asking yourself all the questions. Like, look at it from the inverse. If I was bluffing here, would I try and make an 8-2 VPIP full 2 pair and a flush draw? And if the answer is no, I wouldn't, then I agree with you. Bet full fucking pot, because you identified your fold equity is fucking really low. If you think they would sometimes fold it, then you can start loading more semi bluffs into your how you're constructing your betting range, can't you? I always like to ask myself the inverse question: would I try and make them fold 2 pair and flush draw? If the answer is yes, then you go one way with your range construction. If the answer is no, you go another way with it. It's always good to ask yourself not just what do I want to do with this hand, but would I try and make my opponent do certain things with certain parts of their range? And I think it just helps helps organise your thinking, if nothing else. I am going for the check raise here, obviously. And we're going to get it through this time, I guess. Obviously, we're just going to ram it in now. Try and get through these a little bit quicker. And we're up against the same hand. And do we actually get to win one? No, we chop it up. Right, mate. We've done 50 minutes. I don't know how much more time you've got, but we don't want to be... I've got too many more hands. Do you want to do one more? Do you want to wrap it up here? What do
Whatever you want to do, mate.
We'll do one more, and then we'll finish it on the hour. Yeah, because that's too long anyway, but who cares? I'm enjoying myself. So last hand, I know you're always opening this, so we're not going to waste time on that pre-flop. So you've been 3-bet. You've got... This guy's a regular. He plays about 8 fucking tables at once. This guy, I'm not familiar with him, so I'm presuming he's not a regular. He's got a 47 VPIP, but it could just be over a small sample. So what are we doing with our...
Just call it off.
Just call? Let's go to a flop?
Yeah.
I agree. It's not a 4-bet hand, is it? Let's see what he does. So now we've been checked to by the pre-flop raiser, and again, we have a pretty nice straight draw with nothing else going on for the time being. But it's been checked to you by the pre-flop aggressor.
Yeah, you open it.
Are you potting, or are you 2/3 in? Or
yeah.
What?
Oh, 2/3 in.
I imagine I'll go 1/3, but it's the same thing. It doesn't really matter very much in terms of sizing. So you've been called in 2 spots, and the turn's completely bricked. Now, this is just before I asked you what you would do. This is why I prefer using my 1/3 size rather than 2/3, because I think when you bet 1/3 and you don't get raised, you carry more fold equity over to the next street. Imagine we'd potted this flop and we got called in 2 spots. Your fold equity on the next street on a brick is going to be minimal, isn't it? But because we only bet 1/3 pot and got called, I think personally, and I could be wrong, that we retain more fold equity for larger bets on future streets. Do you think that's necessarily true, or do you think that's me just justifying using a shitty size?
I think it's you justifying it. I don't think you're changing your fold equity, especially. So, like, what if you'd have gone 2/3 pot? There'd be another £4 in the pot right now, right?
I think if I go 2/3 pot, the continuing ranges from both players are stronger. So therefore, because they've got stronger ranges, we don't get as many folds on the turn. But because they didn't raise the flop, their ranges are fundamentally weaker. So we now get more fold equity on the turn. That's my proposal, and it could be absolute dog shit. So let's say we bet 1 blind on the flop, to use the extremes. We bet 1 blind on the flop, we don't get raised, or we bet pot on the flop and we don't get raised. Their ranges for calling 1 blind or pot are going to be different, aren't they? So the question is how much difference in their ranges is between their calling ranges is between 1/3 and 2/3. And I guess it's more negligible, but I don't know if it's got any relevance or not. That's the question I was trying to frame to you. And I probably haven't framed it very well. But anyways, on the turn, are you continuing bluffing, or are you checking and hoping to realise?
With the ace of clubs now, I would continue betting. I'd still go 2/3 again.
I think I should continue. I agree with you. I actually went with the fucking full pot. And the reason I will have done this is because in my head, my opinion is they're both capped on the flop because they haven't raised me. So now I just want to try for maximum fold equity against two what I believe to be capped ranges. That would have been my thought process. Then we get jammed on, so obviously they weren't capped on the flop, and yeah, they just had the setups. Disappointed that moved on so quickly. I guess
set of tens.
Yeah, obviously when with their jam, you're not folding for 12 more, are you? This is the point I wanted to get to. You got to call 12 into a pot that's going to be 64, so you're going to need like 20 something percent equity.
17% on that.
I don't know.
One in six.
I'm not that good at the maths, but I know we've got to call $12 and the pot will be 65. So it's whatever fucking 12 divided by 65 is, that gives you a percentage, doesn't it? So it's probably actually less than 20%. Yeah, 17 sounds about right.
17%.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
It's 1 in 6.
I mean, obviously we just call it off. It's a stupid question now because we just got enough to call it off.
Yeah. It's got open-ended, gut shot, set, and flush.
Yeah,
and you lose.
We were just fucked again. So there you go. That's Reg. The so-called fucking Nate. And this is why I like doing these videos sometimes, because I play tight ranges, but then I actually do try and play aggressively post-flop. I'm not the nit people think I am. I'm tight, don't get me wrong, and I do try and look for good spots, but I'm not the stone nit people think I am. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Don't go anywhere, Josh, because I'll chat to you after it. But we'll end the video with you, with the part of you being here now. And yeah, cheers for that, mate. I really enjoyed it.
No worries, mate.
So there we go. Thank you very much to Josh for that. Really, really enjoyed that. If anyone else wants to join me on any videos, any of my viewers, if they want to come and review some hands with me, I'd be fucking delighted to review hands with you. Or anyone from the app who wants to talk about the game with someone who plays differently to them. Anyone, you want to share any hands, talk to me, please feel free to do so. I'd much rather do that than make videos on my own. But just to wrap up, if you're still watching and you haven't signed up to our private games yet, you've probably got a few hours left to do so to play in our £1,000 guaranteed free roll tonight. So please go ahead and do that. Email me, join the Facebook groups, or message at the Poker Lounge on Telegram directly and get yourself in, because we are giving £1,000 away like 7 hours from now, me saying it, and probably by the time the video goes live in 5 hours. So you really don't have long. So do it now or miss out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care and goodbye for now.